Morning, everybody. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
God, we thank you for the opportunity to do business in the county today. Thank you for our commissioners and the work that they do in serving the county. Pray you give them guidance. We ask you to watch over all of our employees, give them support as they serve the county. Great.
Good morning. I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from last week.
I'll second it.
Motion been moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Make a motion, we pay the claims in the amount of $233,779.65.
I'll second it.
Motion been moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Got heads and abates. It's 2022 898 through 901. Total change in tax would be a negative 1,638.46.
What was the total, David?
1638.46.
I'll make a motion that we approve these ad abates, 2022-898 through 901 for a total of $1,638.46.
I'll second it.
Motion been moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then Janet is not going to be able to make it over today, but I think I had sent you her interest in delinquent tax report. Interest for the first quarter was $37,570.79. A year ago, the first quarter was only $12,423.86, so quite a bit more interest this time. And then her delinquent real estate tax is $820,538.99, and delinquent personal property is $53,405.78.
You got anything else, David?
Kevin was here, I think, so he's got his. I think that's it for me for now.
Randy?
Good morning, Commissioners. Randy Hegwald, Linn County Rural Fire and Emergency Preparedness, giving you the weekly run totals. We had 4 incidents last week. Brings our yearly total up to 141. With things greening up, being under burn ban, things were a little slower last week. So it kind of gave us time to catch up on some maintenance and get some stuff fixed that had been broken. We have LEPC meeting this Thursday at the annex at 7 o'clock. Other than that, I have nothing to report.
It's it's here at 7, you said?
Yeah. That's Thursday night.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Randy.
Kevin?
Good morning, Commissioners. Kevin Friend, Linn County Sheriff. Just for our numbers, 54 inmates in today. 31 of those are farm-ins. The rest of those are ours. Past week, we had 115 911 calls, 4,318 jail contacts. Total calls for service this past week were 715. That's up about 100 from the week before. attribute a lot of that still to some of the fire stuff that's going on. There's still been a lot of burning and things like that. I know this past weekend there was a burn ban though. Civil service papers, we had 45 of those served last week. That's up four times from the week before. So what we would know because of that number is our courts are getting pretty busy. We had 4 VIN inspections, opened 8 new cases, closed 9 cases. Our office worked 6 vehicle crashes, had 145 SRO activities, had 206 bailiff contacts at the front door of the court. That number's about 2 times what it was the week before, I think. 18 of those were turned into a call for service where the bailiff took care of some issue for the people who were at the front door. Had 13 livestock out report this past week. Last week, I feel bad because Danny had asked me if we had any training going on, and we did. It was on Thursday. We had K-Camp in-house. Clerk came over for a bit and had lunch with us and stuff there at the training. Our risk management group, K-Camp, of course, they put on a training class for policy. Talked about training, supervision, legal updates, use of force, jail operations, vehicle pursuits, harassment and discrimination. They had various instructors who came in and taught those courses for us. So that was a good deal offered to us free. K-Camp provided lunch, so nice service that they had for us there. But that's all I have as far as my report goes. I do have an update for you where I would, of course, request Mr. Thompson be present, but probably need to do a executive session. I probably need about 10 minutes to update you on what I would probably call the update on litigation. Is that fair, Mr. Thompson?
That's correct.
Thank you. If you have anything for me.
I don't know.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Galen?
Good morning, Galen Anderson with American Medical Response. Ambulance transport numbers for the past 7 days, we've transported 12 patients. And then so far, month to date, we're at 31 transports. The only other thing I'm working on in the county is just working with the city of Pleasanton to have an ambulance in place for their Thunder on the Streets motorcycle rally coming up this some in June, I believe. So I think that's about all we have going on. Still have the open position that we're working to recruit for, and that's about it.
I think Galen still wants an executive session to discuss some trade secrets.
Yeah, how long do you need, Galen?
Probably 15 minutes, be safe.
All right, we'll get to you. Amanda, do you have something to share with us? All right, we'll let her go, and then we're going to move.
Thank you, Galen.
Thanks.
Good morning.
Morning,
man.
Amanda Snyder, Linn County Health Department. I am here to talk to you guys about our Health Advisory Board. After looking through the minutes and the resolution that Gary sent me, we have 2 board members whose terms were up in January. One is from District 1, and then the other member was the at-large member. Our meeting is next Monday night. And I also have a third one who's resigned because they are moving out of the county. So we have 3 spots to fill. For the at-large, I would recommend, if you're open to recommendations, Tisha Coleman. She is our regional health nurse with KDHE. She's just a really good resource and works with the Southeast Kansas counties, so she can give us insight and ideas as to what other counties are doing, and just be a good recommendation there. So I don't know, should we proceed with our meeting next Monday if we're technically down 3 members?
Well, you need if the commissioners can make a decision about who they want to nominate and do that by Monday morning. If your members know that,
Right.
they can be primed to go. But do you have any suggestions for the other slots? Or-
I don't. And the other one leaving is also District 1. So two
So
District
two
1.
District ones. Wow.
Yeah,
See, District 1 is whose district? Your-
that would be Jason's. And I'm sorry, I don't know enough people up there
Okay.
to know anybody to recommend.
and
We'll get together and brainstorm and see if we
Okay.
can
is it
figure something
possible?
out.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Is it possible that the people whose terms have expired want to continue?
One of the at-large member, she expressed that she hasn't been able to make a lot of the meetings. I can reach out to her and ask. She said that she wouldn't be able to come Monday, for sure. The other one, I could reach out to her from District 1 and see if she'd be interested in extending. She had confirmed that she was going to come Monday.
Let's just talk about some ideas.
Okay.
How do you
Okay.
guys feel about Tisha at the at-large position?
I'm good with it.
Jim?
Whatever.
I'd make a motion that we appoint, did you already talk to her and she approved it?
Yep.
I'd make a motion that we appoint Tisha Coleman as the at-large member of the Health Board.
I'll second that motion.
Motion been moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The only other thing I have is I need like 5 minutes in executive session just to discuss personnel. Do you guys have anything? For
How's everything going at your department?
Good. We're getting settled. We had a WIC staff meeting last week, and then just an overall staff meeting. And then we're going to meet again this Friday and just go over some goals and things that we want to work on internally before we have our advisory board meeting. But we're getting settled. All of our grant quarterly reports are due today. All of those have been submitted. I'm working with some grant managers. There's some budgets just within our grants that need to be revised, some money reallocated. But I'm working on that, and as soon as I do get that done, I'll come and report that to you.
Your transition's going well?
Yeah,
Good.
no complaints.
I don't have anything else for you, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, Amanda.
thank you.
I guess we can do, you got anything you want to talk about before executive session?
Nothing has to be done before then. I mean, I got things I can do, but. if you-
Sean, we got quite a bit of executive session. Do you want to go now or do you want to go later? Do you need? Do you need an executive session? No. All right, well, I'll make a motion that we go in executive session with Kevin for 10 minutes for an update on litigation, 15 minutes with Galen on trade secrets, 5 minutes personnel with Amanda, the health department. And I'll wait on mine. I'll just do mine at the very end.
I'm sorry?
I'll wait on mine. I have about 5 or 10, but I'll do it later. That's my motion.
I'll second.
Motion been moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. How are you? That'll be hard.
Personnel session I had listed at 10:05, we've already taken care of.
Okay. Running a little ahead of schedule. Looks like we have
No action on the executive.
no action on executive, the asphalt bids. Is that what you're here for?
Yes.
Sean, you want to come up and talk about that? Oh, you got more people coming?
If we set a specific time for them, then we can't.
Well, and we didn't set it in the bid, in the ad. I put that on to give us a time slot today.
So in that case, you go ahead, if it was just set for.
Well, do you want to wait? We can do Ally and them first if you want, and give them time. So Ally, go ahead and if you want to come on up.
Okay.
Gentlemen,
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm fine. I hope you all are doing okay. This is the results of our fundraising that we've done for my memorial.
Thank you, Howard.
Ellen's done a wonderful job.
I'm gonna talk about this later. I only figured out one thing. So. Allie Hamilton, Trading Post Museum. Do you want to speak first, or do you want me to? Okay. I'm just here basically to give you guys an update on where we're at on the Walter Scott Brown Memorial Highway. On the first page that I gave you guys, if you just look at that, the total that we needed was $13,650. We raised $8,288, and what would be left from the county, which we had kind of briefly discussed it, was $5,362 to fulfill the balance. He's given you the two checks that came in late, and then I don't know if I printed out who exactly, we have a list of who donated all the funds, but we didn't print that out for you guys, but the total was $8,288.
And can you explain where the stretch of highway is? And
Yeah, so the stretch of highway, it's in the Senate Bill 309, but it's on 69 Highway from the 52 West exit to the Mound City exit to the Butler exit, 52 East.
And when you came in and talked about this, we told you that we weren't opposed to it, to figure out what kind of fundraising you could raise, and then we'd try to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we raised that within a month. We kind of wanted to get the signs purchased for the summer. It's a 6 to 8 week turnaround. I kind of made some bullets on there. The things that we want to do is tentatively have a ribbon cutting. Obviously, you guys would be invited to that. The ribbon cuttings do not take place on the highway for safety concerns. On the second page that I gave you guys, it shows all about like the regulations from, I think I gave that to you. Maybe I didn't. Yeah, the last page, sorry. That shows all the regulations from KDOT as far as like what that ceremony will look like, where we can have it. Government officials will be invited, like the governor, Jake LaTurner, Trevor Jacobs. Obviously, you guys are invited. Invitations would go out. And just talking to the family, we've had a couple of ideas thrown our way, but we are probably going to go with Cedar Crest Lodge. It would be on a weekday to kind of get away from their weekend traffic. And it would be outside. We'd have wood-fired pizza and drinks and things like that. So, I mean, this is going to be a pretty big deal. You can see on that last page, it shows the highway sign would be on an easel at the ceremony. And then I don't know exactly who would be cutting the ribbon necessarily, but those are just some things and details we'd have to work out. So I think it's going to be it's a pretty big deal. Lots of people will be there. as far as the brochure or rat card, I still think that that's pretty important to get done. It was approved by Casey's to put it on their wall. So, well, the Pleasanton Casey's, I don't know if Echo is in charge of all the Casey's in our area, which I can ask her that. I just was focusing on Pleasanton's Casey's. But basically, they're giving us approval to put brochures or rat cards there about the highway and about who he was. So, and those will also be located at museums and different places of businesses if they want them. I'm sure I can work something out with Jessica and getting those printed.
And so this one-time fee of $13,650 takes care of its lifetime maintenance?
Yeah. So the fee of the $13,650, it's the lifetime maintenance. So if we put it up tomorrow and a semi hits it, it's covered for the lifetime. So this will never, I say never. I don't know if I should say never, but hopefully this will never, we'll have to purchase this again. That's what it says. And I don't know if, in that second page you guys have, that is from the Senate committee. So it's in there that it's a lifetime maintenance. So I guess we would just keep that on file. And
Where would we take the money from?
I'll let the family speak before, if you guys want, before we.
You can tell us, just,
So Morgan Brown and then Linn Davenport are going to speak on behalf of the family, just to kind of tell you guys where they're at and thank you guys. And also I have this already made out. We have one check from Linn County Community Foundation, 2 that came in late were made out to Morgan, which we had talked about. So he'll write a personal check so you guys don't have to take that money and figure out how to, I know for like tax purposes, it's probably not going to work that way. So we'll probably be submitting 3 total checks. In our head, we're thinking your check and then the Linn County Community Foundation check and then Morgan's check. Once that's sent in to the state, my contact person is Priscilla, and she will be, working with me, proofing it, make sure everything's right on it, spelled right. Turnaround time, and then also setting up all of the ribbon cutting ceremony details. That's our KDOT contact person. So, do you have any other questions for me on this, or you can come back to me?
yeah, I'll come.
Okay. I'll let Morgan speak first.
I'm gonna speak first because Leanne gets up here, she'll never get away from me. So. Guys, thank you very much, gentlemen, for allowing us to come in and talk to you about this. And we've been pursuing funds here for some time. Thanks to Allie's efforts and Kevin Barnes. This has been a real wonderful honor for our family. My uncle, Scott Brown, they called him, Walter Scott Brown was his name. He had been stationed, he was stationed at Ford Island over in Hawaii. And if you remember the story, when the Japanese attacked, they came over from the backside of the island, right over the top of Ford Island. That was the first one that they approached. Well, he was assigned to a PBY Catalina group, and the Catalina planes, they're float planes that would pick up people, and most of them were usually doing patrols. At the time of the attack, there were only 2 or 3 Catalinas that were in the air. The rest of them were either tied up to port or in dry dock being worked on. Any Catalina float plane that was tied up to dock was considered a ship at sea and had to be manned 24 hours a day. Well, Uncle Scott he was asked by a gentleman the night before if he'd take his duty on the PBY because he had a date that night, that Saturday night. Scott said, sure. So he took his duty and he was on the PBY tied up to the port. When the Japanese attacked, he was able to return fire and engage the Japanese. That plane was destroyed. He made his way into a second plane and attempted takeoff while pursuing and fighting back the Japanese with that as well. He was shot down and subsequently was killed in the water. Every PBY that was on the ground or tied up to port was destroyed that day. The only ones that survived were the ones that were on patrol, and they were on the other side of the island. So because of his efforts and the lives that he saved and helped save, the United States government and the U.S. Navy commissioned a destroyer escort ship after him called the USS Walter Scott Brown. That ship helped transport safely cargo back and forth across the water for the rest of the war. And then it was decommissioned after the war was over. But Uncle Scott, because of his what he performed, what the duty he performed, along with the countless others who gave the ultimate sacrifice that day, he was interred originally on Ford Island, along with 11 or 12 other men. And then they were exhumed, and the family was given the choice to either have the body brought back here or to have him interred in Arlington National Cemetery. Well, they couldn't think of a better honor than to be interred in National Cemetery in Arlington. So that's where he's buried. And this is such an honor to be able to have a stretch of highway memorialized in his name. I think it's very important for our young people today to remember and have these stories told, because these sacrifices are so important. And especially the young people right now going into the service, and those that have served, the veterans and the active duty people, they deserve the highest respect that we can give them, and you know that just as well as I do. So I just want to thank you all, and we hope that you'll see a way to help us out a little on this project. So thank you very much. I'll let Leanne talk.
Well, I'm known as the party girl, so the donuts are on me, the red, white, and blue is on me, and I tied them to Jim's because I had to have something to hold them down. There's napkins up there, and I don't want to go home with any of the donuts, so I hope that you'll enjoy those after a while. But I think if there was one word, it'd be collaboration, and this has been really exciting. I think it started with Karen Tyson, and then Kevin Barnes, and then Allie took up, and it just rolled along, and you folks saw fit to work with us on it too. And so now it's kind of coming to fruition, and we just really appreciate it. I just want to mention that we have Uncle Scott would have a great nephew that served in the Navy, and he named his son Jacob Scott, and so he's named after him, plus his name is Nathan Scott, so that it's a big deal to them. And he served in Virginia as a military in the Navy for 4 or 5 years, and now he works for the state in environmental at Topeka. And then he has a great nephew who is continuing to serve, and I'm hoping he can be here. And he's stationed in Cuba and has been. He's been in 7 years. He left right out of high school and went right into the Navy, and he's going to be stationed for Greece. But I'm holding off, if this and you see fit, that the ribbon cutting, that he could be here, and that would really be an honor to have that much history in our family. So, and also my grandma Dola Brown, a lot of people know about her. Roger Lynn Carbon will tell you she made the best popcorn balls in town. Everybody went twice to her house till she figured it out. He's got some good stories about her, but she's a Gold Star mother in that she had 4 sons basically serving all at the same time. So, and she's buried up at Fisher Cemetery. So with that being said, unless you have more questions, I brought some little flags, and like I say, we appreciate it. We're excited, and we hope you see fit to. They did say that was for perpetual care, which would keep the mowing and everything done around it, as far as the sign itself. And so Missouri signs aren't near as expensive, so that's why, they're 3,000 or 4,000. So I'm not sure why Kansas has such a high, but I guess, everybody has standards, and anyway, it's exciting. And like I said, I want to thank Allie and all of you, and unless you have any questions, that's all I have to say. We're very proud. Thank you.
Thank you.
You have anything else for me on that?
What do you guys think? How do you feel?
I'm good with it. Where would we get the money, David?
I mean, we can take it out of general fund, probably out of either courthouse or contingency.
Is this something that we should, for the future, should we have something set up during budget time, some kind of fund, something like that to help fund small things like this? I mean, it's not small, but
Separate fund, you could do a line item in the general fund aimed at memorial.
community support,
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's important.
My suggestion would be tourism possibly. But I've been saying that for a while. Because that would, I mean, not only would that take care of this sign, if you guys did have a tourism fund, you would also, the rack cards, the brochures that go along with that. Same with all of the museums, all of that could be tourism. I mean, what are the museums? What's that fund? What does that come out?
Historic.
Historic.
Historical Society.
I mean, it could be added through that too, but I mean, any way we look at it, we're just talking a line item
Okay.
and that's still in the general fund.
So as far as the brochures and stuff, that you're doing that out of the,
I mean, I'll have,
All right.
yeah, we'll figure it out.
and you took this on kind of just
This particular job or this particular
this item?
item? I mean, honestly, so it was posted in Linn County History's Facebook group, I want to say 3 or 4 years ago. Kevin Barnes was really, was he do you live like close to a family member or there was some connection. Okay.
He just has a love of history.
Yeah.
He teaches history and he's taught for probably 40 years.
It just,
Our cousin and sister's son, just.
okay, I thought there was something family-wise, but anyway, he had just posted something and it just caught my eye because he was from Pleasanton and I was like, yeah, let's do that, and then he wrote the script and then we submitted that into Karen Tyson and then it took a couple years because of COVID. Then after it was finally approved, it just really, no one really took the steps to get the fundraising going. And so I just messaged Kevin. I was like, hey, what's going on with this? I don't know. It's about 14,000. I was like, let's try to get it, and that's honestly when I came in here and just started it. So.
I appreciate you and
Yeah,
everything you do. I know
no
you do
problem.
a lot of things, so.
No problem.
I mean, I'm in favor of it and it sounds like you guys are too, so.
Okay.
5,362.
5,362. It needs to be made out to, I can give you this, David, if you want, but it's KDOT Division of Engineering and Design. There's a specific, it's also on what I gave the commissioners on the 3rd page. It states exactly where it needs to be made out to and then also mailed. So I think it's on the back page maybe. Do you see it?
Oh, yeah. I'd make a motion that we fund the rest of the Walter Scott Brown Memorial Highway sign project of $5,362. Motion been made and seconded. Any more discussion? Thank you all for coming in.
Thank you.
Appreciate everything you do.
Yeah, and then on the first page, I'll just briefly.
All in
go
favor?
through it.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Go ahead.
The 2023 Race Across America, that was something else that we started last year. It was the first year that we had the Race Across America here. And now that we are going to be an actual location, I've applied to have the Race Across America mobile education unit at the bike rally in Pleasanton, which probably won't get approved, but the Sugar Mountain Arts and Crafts Festival probably will because we'll have a little bit more time. Basically, when you donate $15 for a wreath, it goes on a veteran's grave, anyone in Linn County. We have a goal of getting 750 wreaths this year, which would be a total of 11,250. Last year, we had around 250 that we donated and then also placed on the veterans throughout Linn County, but we were not able to hit all of the veterans' graves. So we're going to try really hard to make sure everyone's covered. Every 3 that we purchase, the Race Across America gives us back 1 full wreath. So basically, if we fundraise for 750, Race Across America would give us 250 back. Also, the Fort Scott National Cemetery has been doing this for a very long time. So as a location, when the semis come in on Race Across America that day, they would come in from Fort Scott, and then we would escort them down here to Mound City National Cemetery. And then there in my head, instead of going to Trading Post, we would come to Mountain City, and then we would unload there. And that's when volunteers would take all the wreaths to all the cemeteries throughout Linn County. So that's something that's going to be really hit hard this year. Hopefully we will make that goal. If you guys have any questions on that, they have set the December 16th as the National Wreaths Across America Day. You're so busy, Maury. That's okay. So the other thing, KDOT and the county. So I have some questions. I've dealt with Darren and Kevin a lot lately on this, but the Potawatomi Trail of Death sign, just so you know, the Potawatomi Trail of Death signs cannot go on 69 Highway. This is something that's going back to Karen Tyson and Trevor Jacobs are working on it. It's not officially been named a historic trail in Kansas, even though I thought it was. So the county was able to put the signs up on our county road to Trading Post and throughout Centerville and those directional signs that you see. But as far as getting it put on 69 Highway, that still has to go through this legislature, I guess. Also, the military road signs, I've put pictures of everything I need or want. So the Potawatomi Trail of Death, that's getting taken care of by Karen Tyson. The military road, these are county signs that I need to purchase. And so if someone could help me with Kevin and figuring out how we order these signs, we would like to add these in locations where the military road was at in Linn County. I think talking to Darren today, we've got the massacre site figured out. We're going to use the one that's in his office, but that still doesn't, I guess, directly answer the question on when we have a sign hit on county road, who orders those? How do you order those? What's the process? So I'm looking for a process on that for the county. Also the attraction guides, I'll be working on that with doing some sort of like county-wide attraction guide for people to pick up at different locations in the county to show all of the things that we have to offer. And I know Danny had come out to the museum and to the Noxious Weed meeting, so that was, and Sean came out. So hopefully you guys learned a little bit more about Trading Post and also the grant update. I know Danny asked me, it says it's in progress. It's not declined, so that's good. But I don't know exactly where we're at on if we are getting the grant awarded or not. The entire grant is in this binder. If you guys want to flip through it later, it shows pictures and everything I applied for. It came up to just under $10 million, so it is a large grant that we have applied for. And so if we get it, you guys will be the first to know. Do you guys have any questions on the signs or anything?
I don't. Have you been in contact with Kevin Amer?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, we text, we call. I mean, he just doesn't really know. I've called Miami County to see, okay, if they have a John Brown sign and it gets hit by a county road worker, who do you guys call? And he was like, I don't know. I think we just have some extra in the barn. And so at some point, since we don't have any extra in the barn anymore, we would have to figure out how to order those. It shouldn't be that hard, I wouldn't think, but I'll give Darren the contact I got from KDOT to get those ordered. But I'm just hoping, like, if I call, I'm like, hey, we need the sign. I mean, the massacre sign has been missing for almost 2 years. And we've been kind of, going back and forth on emails on, like, who's responsible for getting that sign put back up, whether it's the state. It's not KDOT. So if Dwayne had a sign, he said he would put it back up. He does not have a sign. If you can get him a sign, he said he'd help us out. I don't think it's that they don't want to help us. It's just they don't have the sign. And I don't even know what it looked like 100%. I know that there was an arrow. I don't know if there were miles on it. I really don't know. So if you guys have like an idea of what your county road signs look like and when they're hit, how to replace them, that would be, I don't know exactly. Maybe Sean can elaborate on that. We just don't really know how to order them once they're missing.
Usually we just turn to Kevin, don't we? I mean, is that typical?
If it's been placed on a county road, by resolution, and we've placed it, then if it goes down, if we have a mower take it out or an accident of some kind, then I just would have it ordered through Kevin and replaced. The question is, I think who originally placed them, whether or not we ordered them.
Yeah.
I think it should be a lot simpler than what it is, but if we place them, we can replace them. If we took on that road or it was abandoned by the state and given to us and we didn't know it was there in the first place, there may be some confusion to it, but we'll try to get it worked out. We've got a sign manufacturer that if we can come up with what was there, we can have anything maybe we need.
Yeah, because I mean, it was probably placed before Kevin was even on board. That's the we don't really know what it maybe exactly said, or maybe it's been there, but we just didn't really pay attention on what it really said or the miles. We don't know if it was hit. We don't know if it was stolen. We don't really know.
I mean, we're not talking about a couple $100 for a sign, right? I mean, what is it?
So it shouldn't be, it should be covered by the state. It's a Brown historical sign, kind of like the John Brown signs, you know, in Miami County. It shouldn't be a cost to you guys. I think we just have to figure out where to order them and who to charge. You know, like my boss at the state, she was just tell me how much it is. We need to get it ordered. That was one of the things I was supposed to work on, and it just never got it done. So I don't really know if it was a resolution. Surely it would be somewhere as far as like what the sign said, you would think, but I'm not sure. I don't know. Can follow up with you guys, but there's got to be more than just our sign, I would assume. And then also, the trading post sign. Can we add I talked to Darren about this, adding the trading post unincorporated sign into trading post. I didn't know if that was something I have to write up. Is that Public Works or is that, I don't know how to.
Gary, how would we go about that?
Kind of like when you go into like Centerville or Park, just places that don't have, that are unincorporated. I guess Parker's not, but.
I didn't even understand the request.
Oh, so like when you go into Pleasanton, it will say like Pleasanton city limits, right?
Yeah.
We're just looking for a trading post sign for that area. It's an unincorporated
So like
we're establishment.
it's unincorporated.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that would be a county sign on a county road. Since it's unincorporated, they had no city government.
Right.
So if you want to put one up, you can do it, I think. And I know Kevin could get it, has access to those kind of things.
Need a resolution to put the sign up or what?
No, no, the only time you need a resolution is if it's an enforcement thing.
So it'll just kind of fall underneath his budget for sign replacement?
I think so.
Yeah,
Come up with a number on it and get it taken care of.
yeah, I've been talking with Darren on that. I think it was just one more thing that we were wanting to do. It's kind of confusing on a lot. We get a lot. What is trading post? You know, what is that? Is it a city? Is it just a museum? Is it the rest area? So I think just having that sign would really help.
Okay.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, Ally.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you. Nice to meet
Jonathan,
you.
thank you very much. Thank you, Jonathan. I got a story my dad told me about your dad.
okay.
I'll tell you what you did.
Okay.
I won't come over there, I'll start talking. Thank you, Robert.
Hey, thank you.
Is it on some of your paperwork or?
No donut.
I thought it was your budget. I didn't notice the.
Danny, can I have a copy of that fact sheet that I gave you?
Sorry,
Whatever you did, right?
Oh, why not? Just what I need.
Appreciate sugar free.
Yeah.
They're good for you.
Gary, you want a donut?
No,
I want a donut?
No, thanks.
All right, Sean.
We want to start with our asphalt bids.
Looks like we're at that time, yeah.
Okay.
Want to explain what this is for?
These should be bids for a section that Todd spoke to you about, what is called Wall Street. Leaving Mound City going west for a section of that roadway, and I can't remember the actual mileage on it today.
Up towards, past the fairgrounds.
And we'd asked that you open them and read them, and then Todd and I will meet together and qualify all of them at a later date, and come back to you next Monday.
Was there 5 bids?
I believe I handed in 4 of them.
Yep.
Yeah, 4.
What'd you ask for in the bid? Do you know? Or was it just to overlay the entire road or?
I would have to go back to the RFP that I don't have with me to look at the specifics on it. That's what will qualify after they're read.
1.5 inches, approximately 5.5 miles.
That sounds correct.
What I got on this one?
That's what that one says. Then there's 2 options.
This is just on oil and, prime coats and chip and seal. The MC30 and CRS2P is what this is. This is just products.
I guess we can read them out.
Yeah, I'd say so.
This one's from Kilo Construction it says place 1.5 inches, approximately 5.5 miles times 24 feet. So the road's actually closer to 23 feet wide average, so the total tons may be less, but total bid is $660,246.12.
What was it?
660.
Mine's Battis Asphalt, and they, the description is to, I guess it'd be overlay 5.5 miles, 24 foot wide, include mobilization, pilot car, flagging operation, traffic control, patching existing pavement, but does not include pavement markings for the amount of $766,464.
And then on the product, we have Vance Brothers, MC30 at $3.49 per gallon, and CRS 2P at $2.54 per gallon. Coastal Energy Corp, MC30 at $3.89 per gallon, and CRS 2P at $2.54 per gallon.
I'm gonna give these back to you and let you qualify them.
Yes, please. Did you remember her letter?
I didn't bother buying it. I was thinking about that.
Thank you.
Can you get one?
Yeah.
I'm giving you the March cost summary by task. Jessica has completed the RFPs for the track hose, and it'll be published this week. I also have, I had Gary look over a agreement with Foley Equipment. Currently, we have a technical assistance program that we pay $500 a year. Mike brought this to me. It'd be $14.99, $1,500 a year. We'd like to up that because the new programs that they offer for technical assistance, not only emailing or getting someone on the phone, this is not for one individual. This is for anybody in our county to use, can link in with a technician, and the technician can view the equipment running or not running over the individual's phone through a camera system on an app, and give technical assistance to the operators or the maintenance personnel. Mike just brought this to me and wanted me to look at it and bring it to you. Gary's looked it over.
Yeah, it's just a normal, simple contract. Legally it's fine. It's just,
For yearly price of what did you say?
$14.99. Currently, we're paying $5.
500 now for.
paying $500 a year now for a much lower level of service.
Is this something we just went into contract a few years ago or about a year ago?
No, this is strictly a technical assistance program for all their products. And we have their products at the landfill, asphalt, and road graders at each of our shops. They will also do motors that they've installed in other vehicles. If their motor's in a different manufacturer's truck, anything that they build, they will give us technical assistance on with no limitations and no operator licensing as far as how many people can contact them. It's countywide.
Right,
So-
we utilize them a lot.
We do quite a bit of diagnostics on those pieces of equipment. So I brought it to your attention, not that it was over the price limits that I needed approval or anything for, but I just wanted to bring it to your attention that we were going to actually come into an agreement. The agreement doesn't hold us to any long terms or anything of that nature, but I intend to go ahead and enter into that agreement, and just wanted to inform you that we were upgrading that service. I also had a request from the courthouse when we were doing prepping and moving some drain lines. We've got a lot of rot around the landscaping timbers that were holding in the gravel around there. They would like to replace those with the stone that has been used for a planter on the back end of the courthouse. The cost to do that would be to replace all the landscaping timbers around the courthouse, would be approximately $1,440. At the same time, there was a request because the gravel in that stone area is like a 3/4 road gravel or covering. They would like to change out the gravel to a decorative gravel at the same time, which would be another $1,904. And I'm sorry, I don't have a full total on that. It's $1,904 and $1,440 to do those. And we would do the labor switching those things out ourselves.
Would this be something to fall under courthouse maintenance or?
Yeah, courthouse or special buildings.
How do you guys feel about it? Would that be something that the garden club would want? Could they get better deals than what we've got, or?
I believe with our tax exemption, we're going to be able to buy the materials better than most. We could go back with the wood timber, but the problems you're going to have is the same thing. At a later date, you're going to have to replace it and use material and labor cost.
What
When
about
you-
the plastic, like edging stuff? Would that be?
We did not price that because we thought of the stone being not only matching what is already there, but something that would be more permanent that we wouldn't have to put time back into.
And I mean, what are we doing with the stone? Is it going to be laid or is it going, I mean,
Just stacked and
It would be one layer where your landscaping timber holds the gravel back from the other areas right next to the courthouse. It's about 3 foot off of the building, and there'd be one layer of stone similar to the planter that was used back there. And all the stone would be doing would be replacing the wood rotting timbers that are there now and holding that gravel edge in. And that's something, if you'd like to look at the areas, and this is not something that has a timeline that I need today.
what kind of stone is it? It's just like a yellow Kansas limestone rock or what? Or is it
No, it's
like a landscaping paver?
it's like a landscaping paver, but it's taller, much taller, excuse me. And like I said, if you want to look at this project and then get back with me at a later date, I can bring it back to you after you all have had a chance to look at it and maybe come up with any other ideas. But you'll see a round planter of pretty good size towards the southeast corner of the courthouse lawn. And that is the stone that we're talking about.
okay.
And that
so-
price is just to do material only?
That's material only.
Maybe can we reach out to Josh Baldwin or somebody with like a landscaping company, see if they can get something cheaper? I mean, do it at a better rate?
I can reach out to anyone
What do you guys think?
you'd like me to.
It's not that big of a deal. Or...
Is that buying the rock in the bags or what? How are we buying the rock?
I have just a tonnage price on it. It was sourced locally. Danny had got me the price for it. And I only have a price per ton on it. So, I don't believe we're talking about the little river rock bags, or if it is, it's palletized and given a ton price.
Yeah, I know Josh was in the other day talking to some people, so could be that some of that's even coming from him.
It could be if they source it locally, it could be. So, but as I said, I can check on those answers and give you all time to look at that, and then we can discuss it at a later date. But it's just something that I don't believe the answer is going back with those timbers, because we're going to continually face the same thing, especially in areas where we're going to have any flower beds or anything, and we're going to spray water over wood timbers. We're just going to keep replacing them. Next thing I had was the application from Allen County was returned, and the Allen County's been put in our system as a payable entity. So the items we discussed as far as using them, they are set up, ready to go, and we can start delivering to them at any time from this point forward.
Okay.
I did not have and have not had any deliveries made, simply because all of these boxes weren't checked, and I didn't want to find out later that we'd misstepped and got ahead of ourselves. So that process is done and we're ready to go.
I believe the people from Arcadia are coming next week, David.
I think so. I think I have it on here. Yeah, they'll be here 10:30 next week.
Johnny sent me an overview for noxious weeds. Mainly, they've been working on cost share programs, pest control at different locations throughout the county, the park, a couple senior centers and AMR buildings, and maintaining and recalibrating their weed truck. The battery went down on it, So they had to replace a battery and go back and do some calibrations on it.
Does anybody know what our cost share of the chemical is gonna be this year? How much we
Is
get
it,
for our cost share of it?
oh, I don't, what do we give back to customers at 20 or 20%? Or how does that work?
I did total is what I was wondering. Somebody asked me that question the other day, you know?
I think Johnny told me he was waiting on the vendor to get them a price of,
I believe he's scheduled or going to be scheduled to come in and talk to you about exactly that. But if not, I'll add it to the list.
Okay.
he had mentioned something about that last week, but I didn't really catch on exactly what he was, I think he said something about waiting for vendors to send him over their price, so he could.
And the last thing I had for you is the area on aging. We work with them on some matching funds or 40% match on a couple of the senior centers. They reached out to us and said they had some money left over. We looked at the other projects and it was recommended that we replace if we were going to use that money, replace the Blue Mound air unit, which we've had to put a little bit of money in repairs and maintenance into over the last couple of years. The total on that, we've got an estimate of $7,740. The match from Area on Aging would be 40% of that at $3,096, leaving our cost at $4,644. If that is something you're interested in, we will reach out and we'll use the remaining funds and get that air unit replaced at a lower cost. I can tell you, either way, we're going to be replacing this air unit in the next couple of seasons. So I think if we're going to get a 40% deduction on the cost on it, then it now would be as advisable as any other time.
Over at Pleasanton, did we just fix the unit? We didn't replace it, right?
What's that?
Pleasanton here about a week or 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, we fixed something. We didn't replace it, right?
We repaired, not replaced, is my understanding, yes. The only one that I know we've recently replaced was through this program, and it was in Centerville.
When do you need answers on this?
This one's got a timeline. We probably need to get back to them pretty quickly. Jessica's been working with them, but they're looking to close out the remaining money that needs allocated.
And that's for labor and material, 36, 44?
Yes, it's all labor and material included, and the numbers were, the total was $7,740. Our portion of that would be $4,644, with them granting us $3,096.
I'll make a motion that we proceed with purchasing the Blue Mound air conditioning unit with a total price of $7,740 with 40% match from East Central Kansas Area on Aging.
I'll second it.
Motion moved and second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Gentlemen, the only thing I have left is our landfill projects and the meeting over there, unless you have any questions for me.
I don't have, thanks, Sean.
Thank you, Sean.
Darren, do you have anything? I do not. Okay.
So I think, Barbara, that usually is here for reporting, had talked about trying to be down at the landfill when we got there, and I told her 11:30 was an estimate on time.
And when we do get ready to head over, I need to text JR. He wanted to meet us there to explain the steel work and things. So if we know when we're heading out, I'll shoot him a message.
Danny needs a trades or a
Land,
land acquisition executive session.
yeah, I'd probably say 10 minutes would do it. Make a motion, we go into executive session for 10 minutes for Linn accusation.
I'll second it.
Motion been moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Have we got anywhere on any details on the airport area, or what we can legally and can't do?
Jessica has been working on that. I know she has made some progress, but I don't think she's got the finalized. I think the last email I had from her about it was that the person she was talking to was going to consult with their superiors and get back with her. So
Okay. So next, what we got?
Building codes workshop in Arcadia. Coming in next week.
I don't know how long your building code workshop will take. I wouldn't expect that to be a real quick thing.
Do you think we have enough on the schedule for next week with the building
I do.
codes? Think so?
Yes.
All right.
I think he has someone that will come in and speak during that as well, so it may be 20 minutes for someone to talk and then.
Discussion.
20, 30 minute workshop.
What I had initially put on the agenda was starting that at 11 next week and going till close to noon. And the only other thing I had after that was discussing tabled items for another week.
Okay.
And then I had 10:30 is when GFL Environmental is coming in. So I didn't have anything for the rest of that half hour either.
Did you guys finish your final documents for your county regulation? Was that
Zoning.
the zoning regs? Is that completed?
the hearing is,
Is there any way we can have a copy of that to look it over, or are you ready for
It's
it?
already in your thing.
Oh, is it in the
On your
deal?
SharePoint.
Okay.
We've got all that stuff out there. It was sent.
Because that's going to
week
kind of
ago.
coincide with the building code stuff, right?
No.
No, it'll be two separate deals.
Okay.
But that's for the open house. The stuff that you sent out is what will be gone over at the open house on April 24th at Prairie View,
public
Yes.
hearing.
the public
Yeah.
hearing.
Yeah, the public hearings on the zoning regulations and the subdivision regulations.
And this is technically a hearing in front of the Planning and Zoning Board. You guys can attend if you want. I would urge you not to get involved in the discussion because you don't want it to look like you've prejudged anything.
At the,
At the hearing.
okay.
This is a chance.
Are you planning on attending? Because
That went, what day was that? The
27th.
And what happens is the Planning and Zoning hears public comment, and then they may take that comment and revise their draft. See,
And that's here, right?
no,
Prairie View.
Prairie View at the Performing Arts Center.
If more than one of us commissioners show up, as long as we're not talking or anything, we don't have to have a special meeting, right?
as long as you're not saying anything, then
which you're advising us not to say anything.
I am.
So if we just went as a spectator, we'd be okay?
I think that would be a fair statement, although on the off chance that you did say something, if more than one is going to be there, you might ought to go ahead and just set it up as a special meeting.
Do you guys want to go ahead and do that just to be cautious?
That's fine with me.
I do know this. I know that Mr. Kalp is going to be the one that presents them and does most of the answering of questions. And then the planning and zoning commissioners will take all of that under advisement. And then they probably will not make a decision that night.
And so, I mean, is there any risk that we're not going to be asked to come up there and explain anything. That's all going to be done by your stuff and everything. That way
Correct.
we'll be just there as
Correct.
observers.
Correct.
So I don't think.
Because you'll have your whole board there, right? I mean,
Yeah, the whole board will be there. But Mr. Kopp is pretty much going to take care of all the questions and answers. And then if there's a lot of stuff that we're looking at maybe revising because of the public comments, we'll have another workshop after that to go over it. And then probably another, I don't know if we'd have another public hearing or not.
Public, once you've had one,
Right.
I mean, let you scrap the whole thing, start it over.
Right. That's not going to happen.
If, in fact, I will go so far as to say, if somebody asks you to say something, you tell them you've been advised that you really shouldn't comment at that meeting.
Okay.
And we won't, no, we don't need nothing on it.
I still think if more than one is gonna be there, you ought to go ahead and set it as a special meeting,
Okay.
just to be safe.
You planning on going?
I don't know.
I don't know that I am. I don't.
I'm going.
You're going?
Well, and you could still do that next Monday and be before that.
Right.
Let's just,
If you want to decide.
I don't know for sure.
I've got it in my calendar to attend.
Because basically what'll happen is we'll get public comment, if there is any, which I'm sure there will be. And then we would have another workshop to revise the draft. And then after the draft is revised, then I would bring it and present it to you guys for either approval or send it back or whatever's decided.
Okay.
And as far as building codes, that's completely separate from zoning regulations and subdivision regulations, just like our nuisance code, sanitation code. It would be a different code, however, whatever the outcome of the workshop that I have with you guys, because that's directly with you. You guys will make that decision.
Okay.
I don't think, that doesn't have to have public hearing or anything. That's just a vote
Yeah, it'll have
that
public
you guys adopt or.
If you establish a new code of any kind, I believe the statute requires a public hearing.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Anything else?
I don't think so. All right, we have it on the agenda to reconvene at the landfill at 11:30, so you guys just want to clean up, go grab something to eat or whatever, meet back there at 11:30?
Sounds good to me.
You want me down there or not, commissioners?
I think we're just trying to get an idea of, I
How
don't think
everything lays.
legally we're going to be doing anything,
Okay,
right?
thank you.
Right.
So do we need to make a motion to recess until 11:30 and then reconvene at the,
I think your motion say to recess till 11:30, reconvene down there and adjourn from this.
I'll make a motion that we recess from now until 11:30, and then at 11:30 we'll reconvene at the landfill in Prescott, and then we will adjourn our meeting once we're through at the Prescott landfill. My motion.
I'll second.
Motion been moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, Steven.
Do we need, somebody need to is Sean reaching out to Barbara and JR? Or,
was already told.
okay. I'll message JR just in case.